wasn't supposed to see it. That's what I kept telling myself as I lay frozen in bed. My heart pounding so hard I thought it might break through my chest. The bedroom window was cracked open. Just an inch. Enough to let in the cool October air that always helped me sleep. But tonight it let in something else. Voices. Soft. Careful. The kind of whispers people use when they're hiding something. My husband David's voice. Low and urgent. And then, hers. My sister Claire. I should go back. Back to 3 months ago, when Claire showed up at our door with 2 suitcases and mascara running down her face. He left me. She'd sobbed into my shoulder. 20 years of marriage and he just left. David had carried her bags to the guest room without a word. That was David. Steady. Kind. The type of man who fixed problems instead of talking about them. Stay as long as you need, I told her. And she did. First, it was nice having her there. Claire made coffee the way Mom used to, strong and sweet with a pinch of cinnamon. She organized my spice cabinet without being asked. She laughed at David's terrible jokes in a way I'd stopped doing years ago. You're lucky, Margaret, she'd say, watching David fix the leaky faucet or carry in groceries. He's one of the good ones. I knew that. We'd been married for 18 years. We had a rhythm. Quiet dinners. Weekend yard work. Holding hands during scary parts of movies even though we were too old for that kind of thing. It wasn't fireworks anymore. But it was solid. Real. Or so I thought. The whispering got louder. I sat up slowly, my cotton nightgown sticking to my skin. Through the gauzy curtain I could see them. 2 shadows in the garden, standing by the rose bushes David had planted for our anniversary last year. My stomach twisted. I should have called out. Turned on the light. Done something. But I didn't. I crept to the window instead, my bare feet silent on the hardwood floor. And I looked. The moon was bright that night. Full and silver, casting everything in sharp relief. David stood with his back to me, his shoulders tight. Claire faced him, her hand on his arm. She was crying. He said something I couldn't hear and she shook her head, her blonde hair catching the light. Then she stepped closer. And closer. And then she kissed him. Not a sisterly kiss. Not a friendly kiss. A kiss that made my whole world tilt sideways. David pulled back but not right away. Not fast enough. For 3 heartbeats I counted them, he let it happen. I must have made a sound. A gasp. A whimper. Something. Because Claire's head snapped toward the window. I dropped to the floor, my hand clamped over my mouth. Through the thin walls I heard the back door open. Close. Footsteps in the hallway. David moving toward our bedroom. I scrambled back into bed and squeezed my eyes shut, my whole body shaking. The door creaked open. I felt him standing there watching me in the darkness. Then he sighed. A sound so heavy it made my chest ache and walked away. Part 2. The breakfast table lie. Morning came too fast and too slow at the same time. I hadn't slept. How could I? Every time I closed my eyes I saw them. His hand in her hair. The way she'd leaned into him like she'd done it before. Had she done it before? The question sat in my throat like a stone. I made pancakes. It's what I did every Saturday morning. Blueberry pancakes with real maple syrup and butter that melted into golden pools. My hands moved on autopilot while my mind screamed. Claire came down first, wearing one of my old college sweatshirts. She looked tired. Worried. Good, I thought, and immediately felt sick for thinking it. Morning, she said softly. I didn't look at her. Morning. She poured herself coffee, cinnamon and all, and sat at the table. The same table where we'd eaten 1,000 meals. Where David had proposed to me 20 years ago with a ring hidden in my spaghetti. Margaret. Pancakes will be ready in 5 minutes. My voice came out flat. Mechanical. She opened her mouth like she wanted to say something else, but David's footsteps on the stairs stopped her. He walked into the kitchen looking like he always did. Faded jeans. Navy t-shirt. Hair still damp from the shower. Smells good, he said, kissing the top of my head. I flinched. It was small. Barely noticeable. But David noticed everything about me. His hand lingered on my shoulder for a moment, then fell away. You okay? He asked. I flipped a pancake with more force than necessary. Fine. That word. The most dangerous word in any marriage. Fine. It meant nothing was fine at all. We ate in silence. Claire pushed food around her plate. David kept glancing at me with questions in his eyes. And I sat there drowning in everything I couldn't say. Finally Claire stood up. "I think I should go," she said quietly. My fork froze halfway to my mouth. "What?" "I've been here too long. You two need your space." David set down his coffee cup. "Claire, you don't have to." "I do," she interrupted, her voice cracking. "I really do." She looked at me then. Really looked at me. And I saw something in her eyes that made my stomach drop. Guilt. Raw and desperate and real. She left that afternoon. I helped her pack. We moved around each other like strangers, not sisters who'd shared a room growing up, who'd braided each other's hair and told each other secrets. At the door she hugged me. I stood there stiff as a board while she whispered in my ear. "I'm sorry." 2 words. Not enough. Not nearly enough. But before I could ask what she was sorry for, the kiss, the lying, something else entirely, she was gone. David and I were alone again. The house felt bigger. Emptier. He tried to talk to me that evening while we washed dishes. "You've been quiet all day," he said, handing me a plate to dry. "Just tired." Another lie to add to the pile. He studied me for a long moment.
"Margaret, whatever is wrong, we can talk about it. We've always talked about things."
"Have we?" I wanted to ask, because I didn't remember him talking to me before he kissed my sister in our garden. But I didn't say that. Instead I said nothing. And sometimes nothing is the loudest answer of all. 3. The letter in the drawer. 3 days passed. 3 days of David trying to reach me and me building walls. 3 days of sleeping on my side of the bed. An ocean of space between us. 3 days of wondering what I'd actually seen and what it meant. On the 4th day, I decided to clean the guest room. I don't know what I was looking for. Evidence? Proof? Something to make the ache in my chest make sense? I stripped the bed. Vacuumed the floor. Wiped down the dresser. That's when I found it. A piece of paper folded small and tucked in the back of the top drawer. My hand shook as I opened it. It was Claire's handwriting. Messy and slanted like she'd written it in a hurry. "David, I can't keep doing this. Every time I look at Margaret I hate myself more. You were right. This was a mistake. All of it. I'll leave tomorrow. I'll tell her I need space to figure out my divorce. She doesn't need to know the truth. I'm sorry I put you in this position. I'm sorry I was so selfish. Take care of her. She deserves better than both of us." See, the letter slipped from my fingers and drifted to the floor. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. I can't keep doing this. Doing what? All of it. All of what? How long had this been going on? I don't remember walking downstairs. I don't remember going to the garage where David was fixing his truck. But suddenly I was there, the letter clutched in my fist, and he was looking at me with wide, startled eyes. "Margaret! How long?" My voice didn't sound like mine. He went pale. "What?" I threw the letter at him. It hit his chest and fell to the oil-stained concrete. "How long?" He picked it up. "Read it." And something in his face just broke. "It's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is." I was yelling now. I never yelled. David set down his wrench with careful precision, like he was defusing a bomb. "She kissed me," he said quietly. 4 days ago. In the garden. I know. I saw you. The confession hung between us like smoke. His eyes went wide. You saw. Through the window. I was awake. Then why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you? The silence after that was deafening. David ran both hands through his hair, something he only did when he was really upset. "Because I didn't know how," he finally said. "Because it didn't mean anything, Margaret. I swear to God it didn't mean anything." "Then why did you let it happen?" "I didn't let it happen. She kissed me and I was so shocked I couldn't move. And then I pushed her away and told her she needed to leave. But you didn't tell me." "No. And according to this letter, it wasn't the first time something happened between you two." "No. That's not." He stopped. Closed his eyes. "It's complicated." "Then you know it, David." He took a deep breath. Then another. When he spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. "She told me she was in love with me." The world tilted again. "What?" 3 weeks ago. Late at night. You gone to bed early because you had that headache, remember? And Claire and I were watching TV and she just said it. Out of nowhere. I couldn't speak. David continued, his words tumbling out faster now. She said she'd been in love with me for years. Since before she got married. That she'd pushed it down and tried to ignore it. But being here, seeing us every day, it all came back. And what did you say? I told her no. Absolutely not. I told her I loved you, that I'd always loved you. And that she needed to figure out her feelings and get some distance. But you didn't tell me. Because I didn't want to hurt you. He stepped toward me, his hands reaching out then dropping. I didn't want you to lose your sister over something that was never going to happen. I thought if I just handled it quietly, she'd leave and we'd all move on and you'd never have to know. But then she kissed you. Yes. And you kissed her back. For 3 seconds. 3 seconds where my brain was frozen and I didn't know what was happening. And then I pushed her away and told her she had to go. That's what the letter's about, Margaret. That's the this she couldn't keep doing, being here, feeling what she felt. Not some affair. He was crying now. I'd seen David cry exactly twice in 18 years. Once at our wedding. Once when his father died. Please believe me, he whispered. Please. Nothing happened. I would never, ever do that to you. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to so badly. But trust, once cracked, doesn't just mend itself. I need time, I heard myself say. How much time? I don't know. David's face crumpled. Are you leaving me? The question hung in the air like a blade. Was I? I looked at this man I'd spent half my life with. The man who'd held my hand through my mother's funeral. Who'd learned to cook vegetarian when I tried going vegetarian for 3 disastrous weeks. Who still left me notes in my lunch bag even though we were middle-aged and that was supposed to be silly. I don't know, I said again. And I walked out of the garage, leaving him standing there in the wreckage of our life. The phone call. I drove. No destination. Just driving. Through our neighborhood with its neat lawns and families having barbecues. Past the high school where David and I had met at a Friday night football game. Down to the lake where he'd first said, I love you. While we skipped stones across the water. Every street held a memory. Every corner held a piece of us. How do you let go of 18 years? How do you not? My phone rang. Claire's name lit up the screen. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pull over and press the green button. Margaret. Did you sleep with my husband? Silence. Then no. Never. I swear on Mom's grave. Nothing physical ever happened except that one stupid kiss. But you wanted it to. More silence. Yes, she finally whispered. I wanted it to. And I hate myself for it. I squeezed the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. How long have you felt this way? Since I was 23. The number hit me like a fist. 23. The year I'd brought David home for Thanksgiving. The year Claire had seemed so happy for me, so supportive. You've been in love with my husband for 22 years? I thought I was over it, she said, her voice breaking. I really did. I married Daniel. I built a whole life. But then my marriage fell apart, and I came to stay with you and being around David again. You thought you'd take him. No. God no. I never thought. I wasn't trying to steal him, Margaret. I felt things I couldn't control, and I made a horrible mistake, and I'm so sorry. I wanted to scream at her. To tell her she'd ruined everything. That she'd taken the one person I'd always trusted and made me doubt him. But instead I asked the question that had been burning in my chest for days. Did he feel the same way about you? No. The answer came fast and firm. He loves you. He only loves you. That night in the garden, I told him I couldn't stay anymore, that I needed to leave before I did something worse, and I kissed him and he pushed me away so fast. Her voice broke completely. He looked horrified, Margaret. Like I'd stabbed him. All he cared about was protecting you. Then why didn't he tell me? Because he's a good man who didn't want you to lose your sister over something that wasn't his fault. I closed my eyes. Well, I lost her anyway. I know, Claire whispered. I know. And I understand if you never want to speak to me again. But please don't punish David for my feelings. Don't let what I did destroy your marriage. The call ended. I sat in my car by the lake, watching the sun set over water that looked like gold, and cried until I had nothing left. The truth about trust. When I got home it was dark. All the lights were on. David's truck was in the driveway. I sat in my car for 10 minutes gathering courage. Finally I went inside. He was in the kitchen surrounded by ingredients. Flour dusted the counters. Eggs sat in a bowl. The mixer was out. "What are you doing?" I asked. He looked up, his eyes red and swollen. "Making your grandmother's chocolate cake." I stared at him. "It's not my birthday." "I know. Or our anniversary." "I know." "Then why?" "Because you're sad," he said simply. "And when you're sad you always say you wish you could taste your grandmother's chocolate cake one more time. So I called your Aunt Ruth and got the recipe, and I've been trying to make it for the last 3 hours." I looked at the kitchen. Really looked. There were 3 failed cakes in the trash. Batter splattered on the wall. Broken eggshells on the floor. "David." "I know it won't fix anything," he said quickly. "I know a cake can't make up for what happened, but I didn't know what else to do. You wouldn't talk to me and I was going crazy and I needed you to know that I see you. That I'm here. That I'm not going anywhere." His voice cracked on the last word. I walked across the kitchen, flour crunching under my shoes, and wrapped my arms around him. He held me like I might disappear. "I talked to Claire," I said into his chest. His whole body went rigid. And I believe you. Both of you." He pulled back to look at me, hope and fear warring in his eyes. "You do?" "Yes." "So, we're okay?" I took a breath. "I don't know yet. I believe you didn't cheat. I believe nothing physical happened beyond that one kiss. But David, you kept something huge from me. You made a choice about our marriage without including me in it. I was trying to protect you. I know. But I'm not a child who needs protecting. I'm your wife. I'm your partner. We're supposed to face hard things together." He nodded slowly, his Adam's apple bobbing. "You're right. I'm sorry. I should have told you the second it happened." "Yes. You should have. So what do we do now?" I looked at this man I'd loved for 2 decades. This imperfect, well-meaning, flour-covered man who'd spent 3 hours trying to bake away my pain. "Now we rebuild," I said. Slowly. Honestly. Starting with the truth about everything. Even when it's hard. I can do that. And David. Yeah. If something like this ever happens again. If anyone ever confesses feelings for you or makes a move or puts you in an uncomfortable position, you tell me right away. That same day. No matter what. I promise. Even if you think it'll hurt me. Especially then. We stood there in the destroyed kitchen, holding each other while the mixer hummed Forgotten in the background. It wasn't a Hollywood ending. There was no sweeping music or passionate kiss or everything is perfect now moment. But it was real. And real was better than perfect anyway. The garden replanted. 3 months later. David and I went to counseling. Every Thursday at 4 o'clock, we sat in Dr. Martinez's office and talked about trust, communication, and the small cracks that could become chasms if you didn't tend to them. It was hard. Some sessions I cried. Some sessions David cried. Some sessions we both left angry and didn't speak until the next morning. But we kept going. I didn't talk to Claire for 2 months. Then one day I picked up the phone and called her. "I don't forgive you yet," I said. "I don't know if I ever fully will. But you're my sister. And I miss you." She started crying. "I miss you too. This is going to take time, Claire. A lot of time. I know. And things won't go back to how they were. I know that too. But maybe," I said slowly, "we can figure out something new." That Saturday, David and I worked in the garden. The rose bushes he'd planted, the ones they'd stood by that night, had died over the winter. "Want me to pull them out?" he asked. I thought about it. "No," I said finally. "Let's plant something else there. Something that blooms every year. Something that reminds us we can grow new things even in hard places." He smiled, that real smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "Peonies. Perfect." We dug in the cool spring soil side by side, our hands getting dirty together. At one point David stopped and looked at me. "Margaret." "Yeah. Thank you." "For what?" "For staying. For choosing us." I know I didn't make it easy, and I know you could have left, and every day I'm grateful you didn't. I set down my trowel and took his hand. It was the same hand that had held mine at the altar. The same hand that had caught me when I tripped on our honeymoon. The same hand that had pulled away from my sister when she'd kissed him. I'm not going anywhere, I said. And I meant it. The view from the window. That night I couldn't sleep again. But this time it was different. I got up and walked to the window, the same window where everything had fallen apart 4 months ago. David heard me moving and woke up. You okay? His voice was soft in the darkness. Yeah, just thinking. He got out of bed and came to stand beside me. Together we looked out at the garden. The new peony plants were small, fragile, just bare stems in the moonlight. But come summer they'd bloom. Do you ever wonder what would have happened? I asked quietly. If I hadn't seen that kiss? If Claire had just left without saying anything? David was quiet for a moment. Every day, he admitted. And every day I'm glad you saw it. Because you deserve to know the truth even if it hurt. Secrets have a way of coming out eventually. And the longer you keep them, the more damage they do. Wise words. I learned them from a very smart woman. I leaned into him and he wrapped his arm around my shoulders. We're going to be okay, I said. Aren't we? Yeah, he said, kissing the top of my head. We are. And standing there in the moonlight, looking at the garden we'd replanted together, I believed him. Not because everything was perfect. Not because the hurt had disappeared. But because we'd chosen each other again. Honestly. Imperfectly. Truly. And sometimes choosing each other every day is the most romantic thing of all. A word for you. If you're listening to this story, maybe you're going through something similar. Maybe someone you trusted broke that trust. Maybe you're wondering if you should stay or go. Maybe you're carrying a secret that's eating you alive. Here's what Margaret and David's story teaches us. Trust can be rebuilt, but only with complete honesty. Hiding things to protect someone usually causes more damage in the long run. The truth might hurt, but lies hurt worse. Communication is everything. Margaret and David had 18 good years, but they'd stopped really talking to each other. They'd gotten comfortable. And in that comfort, small gaps appeared where secrets could hide. Don't wait for a crisis to start communicating deeply with the people you love. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. Margaret chose to forgive David, but she didn't pretend it never happened. She set boundaries. She asked for what she needed. She demanded honesty going forward. That's healthy forgiveness. Some relationships can survive betrayal. Some can't. Both choices are valid. Margaret chose to stay and rebuild. Someone else in her situation might have chosen to leave. Neither choice makes you weak. Neither choice makes you wrong. You have to do what's right for your heart, your life, your peace. And finally, you deserve the truth. Always. Even when it's painful. Even when it changes everything. You deserve to make decisions based on reality, not on someone else's version of what they think you can handle. If this story touched you, helped you, or made you feel something real, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. And tell me in the comments, have you ever discovered a secret that changed everything? How did you handle it? Do you think Margaret made the right choice? Or would you have done something different? What's the most important thing you've learned about trust in your own relationships? Your story matters. Your voice matters. And sometimes, knowing we're not alone in our pain is the first step toward healing. Thank you for listening. Take care of your heart. And remember, you're stronger than you think.